As someone who speaks different languages, these are my top 4 things that I struggle the most within the English language. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share my top 4 things that I struggle the most in English. If you guys don't know me, I see on my analytics that there are like new viewers on my channel. My name is Beth. I was born and raised in the Philippines. I moved here 7 years ago. Just a little bit of an introduction. English is my second language. My first language is Filipino, which is Tagalog. I don't know if you guys are aware that within the Philippines, every province have their own different languages. You just travel to a different province, they speak different language. We call it dialect, but it's almost as if like it's totally is a different language because they have their own words. It's totally is different. So with that being said, these are my top 4 things. The first is the PNF. If you have a friend that's Filipino, if you're married to a Filipina, if you are Filipino, you know this, that sometimes we would interchange or we would exchange P for F, or we would pronounce a word that has F with P. This is just my personal experience. I feel like I do that because in Tagalog, our alphabet, which is abacada, do not have the letter F. We were not taught like how our mouth, the mouth movements on how to pronounce the F sound. The closest to the F sound is the P sound. We have the P in our alphabet. So every time sometimes I would get overwhelmed and speak, I would always replace the F for P because that's what I'm used to growing up. That's how they taught us in our main language, which is Tagalog. The main reason why I exchanged P and F and F and P because the Filipino ABC do not have the letter F in it. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. But that's just my own personal like theory. Second is the TH. The TH. My best friend. Every time I see the TH in a word, my brain goes like, would shut down, especially if it's like back to back to back. I can't do it. My mouth, like, it's just too much for my mouth movement. So I would put TH on words that don't have TH, and I would not pronounce the TH in the words that has TH. So it's just a struggle. It's a struggle being bilingual. In their brain, all these words from different languages are just floating around, getting ready to be picked and to be spit out of our mouth, or like say it out of our mouth. And that's also the reason why sometimes when you talk to us, sometimes when my husband talked to me, I have to pause. Because, okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna do a short story first before that thing will make sense. One day at work, my coworker asked me, "Hey Beth, so when you speak in English, do you also think in English?" And I was like, "Huh, that's very interesting." I was like, "Yeah, I think in English, because for me to actually formulate a response to you, I have to think in English words. So that means I should think in English." He's just amazed because I guess for like people who do not speak other languages, they just speak. Like there's no like, okay, what word should I use? Like, you know, it's their brain don't go on overdrive, which is my brain is every time I speak in English. It's just, they just speak. I wish I can do that. I can't because I have to think. Right now, it's like getting easier and easier and I'm more at ease. Like right now, I am speaking to you guys. I don't have any script. But if you guys notice, I get out of script all the time because I'm losing vocabulary in English. But if I'm doing this in Tagalog, it would just be a breeze. I mean, I would stutter and like do some other things or like make some mistake, but it's easier than when I speak in my second language. So he was like, "Wow, you have to think in English to speak in English." I was like, "Yeah." And I guess my default is in Tagalog. When I think in Tagalog, I would also need to respond to you in Tagalog. So sometimes my husband would caught me thinking in Tagalog, and he would come to me and speak to me in English, right? And then I would just be like, I would just look at him and pause for a little bit because I'm trying to recalibrate all the gear in my brain and like English, Tagalog, English. It's like almost like you need to be mindful. You need to be like present that you're speaking in English now. It's like a switch. You switch on English, you switch off English. So To other people, though, they would look at us like, are you slow? Like, what's going on in your brain? Hey, come on. It's like they would look at us like we're just slow. But really, we're trying to like flip that switch so we can talk to you or speak to you. Speak to you in the language that we will both understand each other. And I feel like this is something that you actually need to like experience for you to know. But if you're just mainly speaking in English, I feel like the way I'm explaining it will probably not gonna make sense. But if you're like a bilingual, or or you're learning other languages, at least when you're learning other languages and you're like in that beginner stage, you're like thinking every word and constructing them in a sentence. It's kind of like that, but like it's faster. The more you learn it, the more faster your brain, adapt to it. The only reason that I can think of right now is because we also don't have that on our alphabet. Let me look up the Filipino alphabet real quick. Abakada ega hai lamananga o para sa tauaya. This is the letter, this is the alphabet that I grew up with. That was back in the 90s. 90s? Yeah, 1990s. Abakada ega hai lamananga. My husband do not know how to say the word nga, the ng word, nga. O para sa ta u wa ya. So that's the alphabet, the abacada that we have. Now I'm seeing there's a fa. I don't know what that is, but like that's the thing. That's like back in the day we don't have the fa sound. Now it seems like there's fa in it. All right, so yeah, and also we do not have the th. So that's the only reason why I keep pronouncing the th, why I cannot say it properly. Only because of that. In the alphabet that they taught us back in the day, there is no th. So sometimes my husband would caught me off guard, or sometimes I'm like at the grocery store and people would caught me off guard, and I was so embarrassed. And they were really thinking like, yo, are you okay, bro? What's wrong? I was just so embarrassed. But now I feel like I got used to being embarrassed to still feel embarrassed. So yeah. The third one, and you guys probably notice this every time I tell a story, every time I talk to you guys, is the pronouns. We always mispronounce the pronoun, exchange the pronouns. Because in our language, we only have one pronoun. That's sila. Sila. S-I-L-A. Sila. In our language, you do not need to put a gender when you're referring to a third person. In the English language, you have to give a gender on the third person. And that is a struggle for me. It's really is a struggle. And the thing is, it doesn't help that now we have the they and them. They and their and them. I was so I would struggle so much. And then at work one time I have this coworker and they is transgender. So I was like, and this is what I did. He can tell. So I was like, hey, if I call you or if I refer you as this kind of pronoun, please understand English is not my language. And then he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I kind of and I trained him too. So we worked together for 8 hours. And I was like, oh my God, my brain is hurting. But he's transgender. He's a trans woman. So I let him know that I was like, hey, English is not my first language. So please don't get offended if sometimes I would refer to you as he. And he was like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then, yeah, I just let them know. But if it's just a random conversation and I'm referring to a boy as her or a girl as him, just know that I'm not doing that on purpose. My brain and my mouth is not working together. So yeah. And then the fourth one and the last one, I realized this when I started working here in the US. Preposition. When I give directions, it's hard to give directions in English because I don't know the difference with at, on, in, towards, against. It's so difficult. My first job was a cashier, and sometimes I do customer service, and people would come to me and ask for directions. Hey, where can I find it? Where can I find? Where can I find? So customers would come, right? And they would say like, hey, where can I find this pen? Or like, hey, where can I find this thing? And it was so difficult for me to give directions. I was like, oh, you just go straight there, and then you turn here, and then you turn there. I know this was taught in school back in the day, but like actually applying it in your daily life is a different thing. So yeah, I was like, oh my God, bro, like it's hard to give directions in English. And then I started watching my other coworkers. Oh, just go straight across, turn to your left. It's right next to this and that. I was like, oh, okay, so that's how it is. I'm in the city. I'm on the bus right now. I'm in the train. I'm on the train. I'm off the train. Like those on, off, in, at. Those are, I'm guessing those are prepositions, right? I don't even know what they're called. But like, it's the word that you use to like give a location on a thing. If that makes any sense. But yeah, those are my top 4. If you speak Filipino, can you leave a comment down below and tell me what's like the hardest thing for you to like, what's your struggle when it comes to English language, when it comes to expressing yourself in English? I would really appreciate that. But these are mine. I can probably add more. I don't know. If I can think of other things, I'm probably going to make a part 2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.